Brand new footage has come out showing that the line is really being built. However, the mega project has nothing but negative attention, with most people stating it's simply impossible. But now that construction has officially kicked off, is the mega project going to become a new way of living? Or will it become a trillion-dollar failure? The line was first revealed in July 2022 by Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi Crown Prince. This announcement sparked international interest, not only because it is the most insane mega project ever, but also because it introduces humanity to a new way of life. The prince is constructing a line that is 170 kilometers long, but only 200 meters wide. There will be no cars driving within the linear city, and everything will be within a 5-minute walking distance. It is intended to run entirely on renewable energy generated by wind and solar farms. Mohammed bin Salman hopes to attract 9 million residents to his line project, as well as creating 380,000 new jobs within it. Saudi Arabia truly believes it can change humanity's path to a way of life we have never seen. As a result of these enormous plans, the line has become the most viral mega project in history, with nearly 50 million views on YouTube alone. But the trailers leave everyone with one question. Is this project really being built, or is it a clever way for Saudi Arabia to gain international attention? While everyone was talking about the line, there was no news on whether or not construction would actually begin. However, 3 months after the Crown Prince announced his plans, everything changed. On October 19, 2022, official drone footage of the construction site was released by Saudi Arabia, and what it shows is rather surprising. The foundation of the line is clearly visible in the video, with a large amount of machinery digging the shape for the mega project. This shot clearly shows that they've already gone a long distance, almost reaching the mountains in the background. And in this time-lapse, you can see the hundreds of excavators required to lay the line's foundation. If we had to guess, the line is now about 6 to 10 miles long and heading straight for the mountains. By now, this footage is about 40 days old, meaning that the project is probably much longer already. However, many experts believe that the linear city will never look as futuristic as it does in the trailers. Because the line is something that humanity has never seen before, we can only speculate on what will happen. We believe there are 5 possible scenarios for the line's future. Scenario number 1 is that the line actually turns out like all of the trailers we've all seen by now. Saudi Arabia is making some incredible claims here, stating that they can build a project of this magnitude that has never been seen before. But perhaps if the country puts all of its resources into its ambitious plans, it will succeed. The scenario, however, appears to be quite unrealistic. Certain aspects of their master plan, such as having a car-free city or only using renewable energy, are certainly feasible. But when you consider the line's actual size, it's simply illogical to believe this project will succeed. The line would be 500 meters tall, roughly the same height as some of the skyscrapers on New York's Billionaires Row. The linear city is essentially a 170-kilometer wide skyscraper, whereas a typical tower of that size is only 50 meters wide. Not to mention that they would have to build it twice parallel to each other, which would take far too long to construct, meaning the first scenario is unrealistic. However, the second scenario appears to be much more likely. Scenario number 2 is that the line's construction will be halted within the next few months or years, and that the project will be repurposed. For example, if only 1 mile of the line is built and the project is halted, it could still be used as a fantastic tourist attraction. Instead of housing and offices, you could fill the line with hotels and recreational activities like an amusement park or beaches. Saudi Arabia would retain its glory for constructing the line, and people would be introduced to a new way of life. This scenario is much better than the entire project getting abandoned and never used again. Speaking of which, that is scenario number 3. Imagine construction on the line gets halted when a miles-long project already exists. What is Saudi Arabia supposed to do with it? They only really have one option: leave it to rot. This seems to be a trend among mega projects located in the Middle East. What happened to the Jeddah Tower as well as to the Dubai Creek Tower is very likely to happen to the line as well. All of these construction projects have in common that they are very ambitious and something we have never seen before. If they can't even make these skyscraper projects work, how on earth will they make a project about 100 times as big succeed? However, this scenario seems less likely to become reality, since the line has received international attention, putting Saudi Arabia in the spotlight. If they fail to complete the project now, it will put the country to shame. Getting this mega project to completion is a phenomenal opportunity to get more tourists and investors to Saudi Arabia. But even if they don't make it happen entirely, there are still other scenarios that will save the project. That's the case for scenario number 4. Because the line's massive scale appears unlikely to be built, what if the project is built on a smaller scale? We all know the line will be 170 kilometers long and 500 meters in height. But what if these dimensions changed? The city is divided into sections, each of which is only a 5-minute walk. Saudi Arabia could decide to stop construction after X number of sections, making the project much shorter but still allowing it to exist. This is a better scenario than abandoning the project entirely or repurposing it. Another option would be to reduce the project's height. Even if they went with 50% of its original height, it would still be a tall mega project, roughly the same height as the Eiffel Tower. This would mean that fewer people will be able to move into the line, reducing the population from 9 million to 1.3 million. However, this wouldn't be that big of an issue, since Saudi Arabia could add more sections to the city if demand for it is high enough. But there's one more scenario we haven't considered yet. What if, as a result of all of the controversy surrounding the project, the line megacity gets cancelled? Since the project's announcement, a variety of issues have surfaced for Saudi Arabia to address. However, not everyone agrees on how Saudi Arabia is dealing with these issues. For example, several communities have to move out of their homes to make way for the mega project. And many Saudi Arabians who spoke out against the government's plans have been abducted by Saudi security forces. And when you consider all of the country's human rights issues, this no longer appears to be a good investment. Many commercial partners have already backed out of the deal on humanitarian grounds. And if many more would do this, the project would go bankrupt. Which of these scenarios will become reality is only something time will be able to tell. But if you thought that this was everything there was to know about the line, you're wrong. Have you heard of all of the untold secrets surrounding the Line Mega Project? Click on this video to find out.